Hi, I'm Erik Voss, and as we cross into this final stretch of our long wait for the fourth Avengers movie, we just got confirmation of a major detail regarding the ending of Infinity War. So when Thanos acquired all 6 Infinity Stones, snapped his fingers, half of all life dusted from existence. Some people dusted on screen, some we found out later dusted off screen, and some not even important enough to mention, others' fates were just left a mystery. But now we know that 2 key characters actually survived. And spoiler warning in case you don't want to know, Dr. Erik Selvig and his associate Darcy Lewis from the Thor movies have survived. And while they may seem like minor players, Selvig, as we saw in the first Avengers movie, this is a guy who's been pretty central to the Infinity Stones and the main timeline of all these events. And actually rewatching Thor The Dark World, an Easter egg has resurfaced online that could make Selvig's survival very, very important. But first, how do we know Selvig and Darcy survived? Well, there's an upcoming book called Marvel's Avengers Infinity War, The Cosmic Quest Volume 2 Aftermath, and its author Brandon T. Snyder tweeted an image of the back cover description, which I guess makes this a tweet down. It's been a minute. Okay, the plot summary goes as follows. A deadly threat emerged from the cosmos, and it was fulfilled. In the wake of Thanos' horrifying success, the people of Earth are left reeling in despair and confusion. Without any logical explanation for the blip out event, those remaining must pick up the pieces. Dr. Erik Selvig and his associate Darcy Lewis are determined to find and understand the cause of the devastation. With a team of friends, both old and new, they embark on a pursuit of knowledge, eager to discover the links between their own past and the stones that decimated half of humanity, the Infinity Stones. Little do they know a new foe who threatens to destroy them all is looming. Ooh. Here's why this is interesting. Selvig is one of those fascinating MCU super nerds. Like Doctor Strange, he knows a lot more than he's letting on. Also like Doctor Strange, a lot of that knowledge comes from divine insight gained from an Infinity Stone. Doctor Strange, of course, possessed the Time Stone, and Selvig, remember, was influenced by the Mind Stone. It was contained inside Loki's scepter when he was tapped in the first Avengers. And it filled his noggin with cosmic wisdom. And as we saw at the beginning of The Dark World, it also drove the poor guy insane. But as we see later with the Mind Stone, not all that cosmic wisdom is just madness. In the beginning of Infinity War, the Mind Stone definitely warned Vision about the coming threat of Thanos.
Is it the stone again?
It's as if it's speaking to me.
And recently, a lot of sources online have been re-examining a scene in Thor The Dark World, with Selvig rambling about theoretical physics in front of that chalkboard that was filled with Easter eggs. This recent egg hunt really started with a post by Reddit user Mushbert, and you should really read their whole theory because it is fascinating. But here's the gist. If you look closely at each of the terms scrawled upon that chalkboard, pretty much all of them described events that would later occur in the Marvel films. At first, a lot of these just seem to apply to the events of Thor The Dark World. Remember the convergence of the 9 realms, but other stuff more closely describes other events from Ragnarok, Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, leading us to think some of these things could happen in the next Avengers movie. So let's look at what this Redditor found and break it all down. Okay, first we can see terms like the alignment, dark energy, distance, mass, and gravity forces, the 9 worlds, all of which are ideas that come into play in Thor The Dark World. However, we should point out that Nidavellir and Muspelheim, which appear on that board, are places that do not appear until later. Muspelheim is the realm of demons that was ruled over by Surtur in Ragnarok. And of course, Nidavellir was where Thor and Eitri forged Stormbreaker in Infinity War. But also you can see the term phase transition. That is the concept that applies to the events we saw in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Remember, the character of Ghost was suffering from phase shifting, which was only cured when the quantum healing energy that Janet Van Dyne brought back with her from the quantum realm. Earlier in the movie, Bill Foster lectures to his class about quantum physics, including this point.
If the system is interfered with, that stability becomes chaos, unpredictable, dangerous, beautiful. In other words, the object in question would be both in and out of phase with multiple parallel realities.
Ah, nerds. Basically, Marvel Morpheus is explaining that in quantum mechanics, particles can transition between phases of matter into multiple parallel realities at the same time. As we've suggested before in other videos, that could mean Ant-Man, who's trapped in the subatomic quantum realm, could transition into another parallel reality from there. And in the next Avengers movie, Dr. Selvig, who we now know is alive, could look over his old notes and help explain this science to Stark, Banner, and the other survivors. survivors, and maybe help them shift into another dimensional reality where events might have played out differently. That could be the key to beating Thanos. And look again at this chalkboard. The set designers include a few fun Marvel Easter eggs. Simonson's theory of relativity refers to Walt Simonson, writer of many Thor comics and creator of the character Beta Ray Bill, whose hammer inspired Thor's new weapon, Stormbreaker, in Infinity War. There's also 616 Universe, which at the time was just seen as a nod to the whole multiverse of the Marvel comics. That's where comic characters exist within a vast multiverse of different parallel Earths, our main Earth being Earth 616. By the way, this is basically how we get all the alternate Spider-Men and Into the Spider-Verse. But now, rather than just being a throwaway Easter egg, it kind of seems like this could be more important. Because maybe Selvig, divinely inspired by the Mind Stone, was the first to discover the multiverse, which could be a real thing that the Avengers used to defeat Thanos. You can also see the term Schrodinger's cat. That's the famous thought experiment that suggests that particles in a closed, unobserved system theoretically exist in multiple simultaneous states. Like a cat in a box is both alive and dead. You can read more into this in your own time. You may know this concept as the basis of the multiverse in Rick and Morty. And perhaps showing up on Selvig's chalkboard, it also could suggest a multiverse existing within the MCU. Basically, all the other terms that you can see on this chalkboard could play into this idea of dimension hopping. The crossroads, the nexus of all reality, fractal gateways connecting mutable brains. There's also the fault, which the Redditor claims could refer to a tear in the universe that Thanos' snap might have created. And that brings me back to this new book synopsis. Remember, at the very end, it referred to a new foe that threatens to destroy them all. A new foe, as in a threat beyond Thanos. So this could be someone the Avengers actually have to work with Thanos to defeat in their next movie. Or maybe a new big bad for Phase 4. If you look at the Infinity Gauntlet comics, Thanos' decimation disrupts a number of cosmic entities. There's Eternity, Kronos, Galactus, the Living Tribunal gets involved. It's a mess. Perhaps in the films, Thanos' snap is such a universe-wide catastrophe that even bigger godlike forces have to step in, which characters like Selvig, Stark, Banner, Scott Lang, and the rest discover through their exploration of different realities. We already know one godlike entity exists in another dimension in the MCU, Dormammu hanging out over in the dark dimension. I wonder how he feels about Thanos' snap. Whatever it is, he's probably just one of many unkillable evil forces just waiting to be stumbled upon. My question for you is, which of these characters do you think will be that next threat after Thanos? Comment down below with all of your thoughts and follow New Rockstars on Twitter and Instagram at New Rockstars. And for all of my hot takes, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at EA Voss. And subscribe to this channel, New Rockstars, for the deepest dives into Marvel theory, because you know we're doing something right if our hero is a guy who explains quantum physics with shoes.
Any questions? Can I have my shoe back?
Everybody's doing it.